Hey, what's going on, fellow collectors? Let's continue talking about the presidential dollar coin series. We're getting into 2012, which is a really important year for this series because it would mark when the US Mint would cease producing these coins for general circulation. As you probably noticed with the previous videos about this series, the amount of them minted each year has pretty much gone down steadily. Instead, the 2012 presidential dollars were minted exclusively for us collectors. The presidents that would be featured on them were Chester A. Arthur, Grover Cleveland, Benjamin Harrison, and Grover Cleveland again for his second term. Each coin followed the same design pattern as the previous ones, with the president's portrait on the obverse and the Statue of Liberty on the reverse. So let's talk about the mintage figures, each coin, errors, and the market performance for them. The first one we're going to talk about is the Chester A. Arthur presidential dollar. Chester A. Arthur was the 21st president of the United States from 1881 to 1885. There would be a tiny amount of these coins made out of the mints, with 6.3 million out of Philadelphia and 6.3 million out of Denver. Chester A. Arthur would take office after the assassination of James A. Garfield, who we discussed in the last video. The most notable error for these would be missing edge lettering, where some of the Arthur dollars were struck without the standard inscriptions, which makes them valuable and sought after. These can sell in upwards of $200 or $300, with an MS-66 selling through heritage auctions for $375. The second coin is the Grover Cleveland coin. This is for his first term as 22nd president from 1885 to 1889. There were only 5.4 million of these made out of Philadelphia and 5.4 million made out of Denver. Grover Cleveland would serve 2 non-consecutive terms and would appear on 2 separate coins for this year. The most notable error for these coins is the doubled edge lettering, which is where they fed the coins into the lettering machine twice, and they will feature doubled inscriptions around the rim of the coin. These can fetch between $100 and $400 depending on grade, with an MS-67 selling through great collections for over $300 in 2022. The third one on the list is the Benjamin Harrison presidential dollar. Harrison would serve as the 23rd president of the United States from 1889 to 1893. There would be 4.2 million of these minted out of both mints in Philadelphia and Denver. Benjamin Harrison is the grandson of William Henry Harrison and is featured on the obverse of the coin, and the normal back of the Statue of Liberty is featured on the reverse. There are more than one error that you can look for on these Harrison dollars, which of course is the missing edge lettering error. Those can be worth in upwards of $100, but there are also weak strike errors, and depending on how dramatic the weak strike is, these can be worth hundreds of dollars, with a missing edge lettering and weak strike error in MS-66 selling through great collections for $525. The fourth and final one on the list is Grover Cleveland again for his second term as U.S. president as the 24th president from 1893 to 1897. There would be 3.9 million of them minted out of Philadelphia and out of Denver. This would be the only presidential coin that would represent a president for their second term in a non-consecutive manner. The most notable error for these is a struck-through grease error, where some Cleveland dollars exhibit weak details due to grease interfering with the striking process, and these can sell for well over $100. Even though in 2012 the US Mint stopped producing presidential dollars for circulation, the process of making them would remain the same, with a manganese brass alloy composition and an edge lettering process that would pretty much always and frequently lead to errors. Record sales for all 4 of these coins exceed over $200, some in upwards of $500 or $600, so you can see that they can be really, really valuable. If you are to come across a really good condition presidential dollar in general, but from 2012, consider getting it graded by PCGS or NGC to ensure its authenticity. Let me know in the comments what you think about these coins. I will see you there, and I'll see you in the next video.